Good morning, guys. You may be asking yourself what I'm doing up here on top of this freezing cold hill so early on a Sunday morning. I've been asking myself the same question as it happens. Suffice to say, there aren't any good places to park your car nearby, so mine's over 2 kilometres through soaking wet fields, some of them where the paths are hard to figure out and are surrounded by electric fences. All adds to the fun. I made it here to the start anyway. So today we're going to do section 3 of the Spire Ultra. We got to the 10k point just over the road there where the first checkpoint and the water station is. We're going to be heading along Belland Lane. Yes, I said Belland. And we'll be doing up to kilometre 15 of the route. So before I freeze to death, I'll get the camera in position and let's get going.
Here we go then, kilometres 11 to 15 of the Spire Ultra Marathon route. It's a bit of a damp, cold day, and we're heading up Belland Lane, where we will have just left the first water station. We're about to reach the highest point on the entire route here as well. So if we just zoom along to where these houses are, you can see where the hill reaches its crest. That's the highest point if you look at the elevation map for the route. And then we start heading back down. Thankfully it's a nice section this. There's plenty of variety in the terrain and plenty of downhill after all that climbing we did in the first 10k. You can see the big chimney there, some kind of historic thingy bob that people like to look at. Had to stop for a car to come past, so got to stand and stare at the chimney for a few seconds there as we drop down towards the main road there. It's quite a narrow one, Belland Lane, with no footpaths, so just mind yourself on there. There should be a marshal here helping to guide you across the road. I'm fairly sure the race director Jamie was there when I did it a couple of years ago. And you'll either be on this side on the grass verge or the other side on the grass verge. There's room to run on both of them. But we do eventually need to get over the road and head down a farmer's driveway on the right hand side there. So we're going to be heading to the right here down towards Stonehay Farm. So just enjoy this relatively smooth downhill section as we're in for some mixed terrain, as I said, on this bit. Just see the oval sign there for Stonehay Farm. We just follow the driveway straight ahead all the way down the hill and we're heading towards Corporation Wood. That's where the terrain changes at the bottom. Can be quite slippy this bit when it's freezing, and it is quite exposed up here being so high up as well, so I'm sure it won't be freezing in May, but you never know. So yeah, the driveway just gets a little bit windy as we get towards the bottom. I think there's some tourist accommodation somewhere around here, judging by the signage I've read. And this is obviously somebody's property, so don't veer off too far. We're kind of keeping to the right here, and you'll see the signpost for the public footpath just on the right, and the grassy section there. Head for that. And then we'll just follow this little trail towards the woods. One little metal kissing gate here to get through before we're in the woods proper, and there's some water crossings to do, the first of which isn't very far away, a little bit further down the path. And then there's a little stream to cross with a few stones you can stand on. At least one of them's wobbly, so just mind your foot in there, and then carrying on following the trail. And yeah, the nice, smooth, even road and driveway are behind us now. There's plenty of rocks on this path, so yeah, walking in some parts might be necessary depending how brave you are and how tough you think your ankles are. So definitely worth making up the time on the smooth bits before you get to this section, I think. It is downhill though, so we're not working too hard at the moment, just watching where you step. And And then here's a river crossing, so even more fun getting across this water. Nice big stones to step on here. Not noticeably seen any of the big ones being wobbly, so you should be good. Then up this little leafy hill before we carry on through the woods. Quite muddy in some sections, one or two fallen branches and or trees along the way. Definitely need some good grip on your shoes on this section. So there's just one more water crossing to come. Thankfully we're provided with a bridge this time, just to make it extra easy. And then we're climbing. Quite a few roots on that section, but then a fairly smooth path as we work our way up to the road. It goes on a while, so hopefully you've made some good time up to this point. This is hard work. I think I might be walking. So you see the public footpath goes to the right of the wall. I think I tried to point it out, but I'm sure you're not going to go that way. It's just as easy to follow the open section. And then we turn right onto this road. I think it might be Harewood Road, something like that. But we're not on it for very long because to the left there's a public footpath sign there which points us towards Dennis's Lane. Now this one is one of the more technical bits of the route really. Plenty of narrow muddy paths, little kind of offshoots from it where people have tried to avoid the muddiest bit and made little alternative paths around the trees and stuff. And it climbs, and yeah, further on we get really rocky sections as well. So, a little bit of a water crossing there, nothing major. And yeah, we're climbing for quite a while here. Fantastic views when you get to the top. I've taken pictures from the top of here on quite a few occasions. One thing I'm not doing on these recce videos though is stopping and turning and admiring the views and getting them on camera. I think it's best you save those nice surprises for when you're out on the route. It really gives you a boost just to see the incredible views when you get to some of the top of these climbs. And I don't want to spoil it all for you. The idea of these recce videos is to let you learn the route so you don't get lost on the day and you can just enjoy the scenery, enjoy the running without that worry of getting lost. So yeah, on this bit there's a few little alternative routes, but the main brown muddy one to the right there is where you'll always end up. These are just kind of little semicircle little arcs that get you back onto the main route anyway, where people have, like I say, just tried to avoid the mud and made little detours. But yeah, this brown muddy slippy route is the one we always end up coming back to, and then it starts getting more rocky and heading downwards. So we've kind of peaked here at the top part of Dennis's Lane, and now it's really narrow, quite a few rocks. I think some have been kind of cleared or smoothed out since last time I was here, so it's not as bad as it was, but you certainly do need to watch your footing on this bit. It is quite good fun to bomb down here if you're good at picking your way on difficult narrow sections and avoiding twisting your ankle, but yeah, safety first, it's probably the best policy. Can get quite wet as well. You see here the entire path looks like a bit of a stream at the moment. I'm somehow managing to pick my way down the edges and avoid getting my feet wet on this occasion, but yeah, that's not the worst I've seen it. So we speed along. There's not really any difficult navigation on Dennis's Lane. You just keep going and try not to trip up or get your feet wet. until we get to the road at the end. I think that's Loads Road in Holy Moorside. You can park down the hill to the right if you want to come and recce this section in person. But we're going left and we're going to be heading into the woods where those trees are. See the little sign next to the wall. Turn right through the gap. This is a nice little path through the woods. Go under some evergreens and there's a nice kind of carpet of pine needles on the floor, which makes it nice and springy. So we'll just follow this for a while until we get to a little field entrance. And the sign there will tell you that there may be horses in these fields, either this one or the next one. So it's just a short hop straight across this field. You can see the exit straight away into the next slightly bigger field that does have some nice spiky gorse bush right next to the path. I think I took a little detour here just to avoid getting spiked. It's relatively flat, then we start a small climb. Easy to navigate again, and here we are exiting the field. Another bit here that's nice and smooth and gently downhill if you want to make up some time. There is a 9-hour cut-off for the race, so you can't take it easy the whole time. But yeah, as we trundle along, I think it's Mill Close Lane, something like that. And we get to this gate. It's just a big chain around the stone gatepost there, so lift that off and then once you're through, put it back as you found it. If you think that gate was fun, we're following the path here. You see the stone building there with the kind of yellow moss on the roof. A couple of windows, just make a beeline for that. And that's got the even more fun gate next to it. This gate on the right hand side, it's kind of resting on a rock, so you have to lift the gate if you want to open or close it, and the gate post is leaning away from the gate, so you have to kind of bring the two together to release the tension on the chain to unlock or lock it. Great fun. So yeah, I've had to kind of lift the gate onto the stone there, get it as close as I can to that gate post, which does move, and put the hook back on. Away we go. Nice little run next to a river there. And again out onto a road where we turn right. Very steep this road, so it might be a good point to have some food or drink if you haven't recently. And yeah, I'll definitely be doing some walking on this section, as you can see me doing on the recce here. There is a little path to the right there if any traffic comes while you're on this section. This lane does lead straight to somebody's property. You can see the gate on the right just here. We want to keep left. Obviously don't want to go and visit whoever lives there. But there's a trail just between the wall and the fence and hedge set up on the right there. Trot along there, still going gently uphill. Through this fairly tight squeezer. Breathe in. And we're almost into the field now. Pointing directly across the field, you can see that kind of dark green patch. On the day I visited, there were these kind of blue gate fence posts just marking where you want to go. Can't guarantee they'll be there all the time. They look a bit temporary, but you'll soon spot the dark entrance into the woods and the yellow topped post there. A little wooden bridge with some planks missing. Watch that bit before we hit the mud. This is easier to navigate than it looks. think there was a fallen signpost here that someone was using as a bridge. You can't see it on camera, but I had to stand on that and jump across the muddy puddle and just keep following the muddy track through this small section of woods. And we come out into a field, quite often sheep in this one. Just turn right and stick alongside the hedge there. So we'll just trot along here until we reach the next tree line. And there's some navigation here. This path carries straight on, but if you look to your left just here, there'll be some massive stones on the ground, and we just want to turn left where they are. Don't take the even more lefty left there, that's just a little side track. Handy place to go for a wee, so I'm told, but we want kind of the middle path out of the three, and we just drop down through these woods. It's a nice little run heading downhill. Fairly good terrain, one or two trees across the path further on, but not too bad. And we are getting there now. Just need to get over this big tree. Carry on a little bit further. I think there's some huge tree on the left that marks the 15-kilometre point of the Spire Ultra route. Almost there now. And that is us done.
Right guys, that's another 5k of the route done. Section 3 complete. It's in a bit of a random place in the middle of these woods, just looking down a big hill onto the next section. But yeah, you should reach 15k when you get here, roughly speaking. And I've just got to turn around and go all the way back to where I started now. About 160 meters of climbing if I remember rightly, so I've got that to look forward to. But if you are doing the race, best of luck. This bit's really enjoyable, lots of downhill, lots of technical bits, lots of little wooded sections to keep you occupied, and a few gates to tangle with. It's all good fun. So thanks for joining me again guys. I will be doing the next section shortly, so look out for that, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Thanks again.